You're listening to In One Ear, local music news with Casey Warner. I'm back here. It's been a while. I've had a little hiatus, and, I haven't been interviewing some musicians in quite some time. Probably been about 3 or 4 weeks, but I'm glad to be back, and I'm privileged to be here with a great guest, very talented man, singer and guitarist of the garage pop, as it says on Facebook page, the Cartoons. How are you doing, Chris? Cris Rutledge, that is.
Oh, shucks. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm just glad to have you here and glad to have another great local musician from the 270 and the Bowling Green music scene. It's great to always, get this kind of insight and interview you all and hear about all the great things you all have been doing. So let's get this thing started. And first, I kind of just wanted to ask, about your background and your band, the Cartoons. So tell us a brief bit about the band you're in and, what else you might be doing musically right now.
Well, the Cartoons has been my main squeeze since 2012, when I formed it with Jeremy Simon, a.k.a. pop artist Jeremy Duran.
There you go.
Dan Marlowe, who's still our drummer, and Tiger Merritt from Modern Teleportation. And that was just basically this dorky kid getting lucky and a bunch of awesome musicians playing with him. So that's how we kind of had our humble beginnings. And Tidballs, they let us play over and over and over again. And then Rockies let us play some too, so we were really blessed, really lucky. As time went on, Tiger had to get back on tour, so the lineups have changed over the years, but it's always been me and Ramona, and Jared and Kale and Dan have been in the band since 2014, so.
Awesome. I love to hear that, and love to hear about all those other members. So if you want to, real quick, kind of just shout out the other members and their positions in the band. I would love to hear about it.
Well, Jared is our guitar player. He used to be our bass player, and he's just a guitar wizard, and also very good at pretty much any instrument. He's got his own studio, Nightmare House Studios.
Awesome.
So, I think a lot of the best records that have come out of this town in the past 2 years have come out of his studio. So, we love Jared. We're really fortunate to have him in the band. And we got Dan Marlowe. Dan is just a Bowling Green OG. He's been around forever.
Man, I love it.
He's been in pretty much every kind of band, and we're lucky to have him. One of the best drummers in the world, probably
Absolutely.
one of my favorite drummers. And then we're also blessed to have Mr. Cale Knight on the bass.
Of course.
The former bass player of Cigarette Smoke and current bass player of the fantabulous band People Proof. Cale's a bass master.
Bass and master. I like it.
And then there's me and Ramona, who we can kind of hold the tune. We ain't no Johnny and June, but we try our best.
An honest man, Chris is. I love it. So I was reading on your old Facebook page before you came in, and I was kind of educating myself, and I was looking at the history part, and it kind of said something about the 1960s and a band in the 1960s. So kind of go into that a little bit. And what that was, is that kind of just a joke, or what was that?
Oh, man, I don't even know what I was doing when I wrote that. Said something about we crawled into an interdimensional time portal.
I was wondering about that. I was like, is he being serious? I mean, was this a band back in the 60s that he brought back to life? Or what's going on there, man?
Well, I mean, of course it's a joke.
Right.
But I just can't think of anything better to write there. So, yeah, we're a neo-twee fuzzbang band that was transported from the 1960s. That's our...
Dude. I mean, that catches the reader and, the listener's attention in this, in this case, because I hadn't really, read your all's Facebook page ever. And I was just kind of wondering, what you all classified your genre as, because it's so unique. And when I read that, I was just like, I mean, it caught my attention. And I thought it was funny. So I loved it, man. So I think that's great.
I think most of my favorite bands haven't really tried. They always sound like themselves kind of effortlessly, but there's no fear of trying out new things or kind of stretching the idea. I think if you're not afraid to be weird right away, people won't be freaked out when you're weird later. So if that's one thing I can tell artists, if you're trying to put out your first record, just get weird with it, because then the expectations are weird, and that's a great expectation to have.
Very true, Chris. Very true. I love that statement there. But coming up next, we got Head in a Box and You Were in My Dreams from the Cartoons. You're listening to In One Ear Local Music News with Casey Warner and Cris Rutledge.
Like some little kid, I'm interested in what he did, you know, I'm only interested in you. Could you be a perfect match, a universe that's sitting laughing, telling me that none of it is true? I guess I'll give it to you, it's lost on me. I guess I'll give it to you. I guess I'll give it to you, 'cause it's lost on me. I guess I'll give it to you. You were in my dreams last night, was I in yours, was I in yours? You were in my dreams last night, was I in yours, was I in yours? You were in my dreams last night, was I in yours, was I in yours? You were in my dreams last night, was I in yours, was I in yours? And is it my turn to talk yet? There's something that I'd like to say. You look so beautiful when you smile at me that way. And yeah, I know that it's a crime, the way we waste each other's time. But girl, I'm so in love with you. Let's kiss and throw up in our shoes, yeah. Yes, I'll give it to you. It's lost on me. I guess I'll give it to you. I guess I'll give it to you, 'cause it's lost on me. I guess I'll give it to you.
Back here with Cris Rutledge, singer and guitarist of the Cartoons. Great to have him here in Bowling Green in our studio, and great to have, another local musician from the 270 area that we can ask about and see what's going on. And Cris, I got some more questions I'm going to ask you here. You ready to give me some good answers?
Oh, gosh.
I love it, man. You got a great personality, Cris, and that's why we got you in here, man. So first of all, let me ask you, what kind of stuff did you listen to starting out as a kid that got you so interested in making all this music, man?
Oh, wow. Well, what I listened to when I was a kid and what I listen to now are pretty different. But I liked ska music as a lot as a
Dude,
kid. I still
killer.
like ska music.
Me too, man.
But I don't know if that's a readily apparent influence. The first record I think I bought was the Battle of Los Angeles, Rage Against the Machine.
Dude, man, Guerrilla Radio. I mean, that never gets Testify. I mean, opening up with Testify, you can't go wrong there. That's a great album, dude.
It's still a very solid record. I still like it. Nirvana and the Beatles taught me how to love music. Like they teach a lot of people my age how to love music. The Beatles have that thing where everything they do is so steeped in legend that like every day they lived. On March 26th, 1964, Paul McCartney bought a bagel and put red jam on it. And he used this kind of knife, which you can buy on auction here. Yeah. So, I mean, I think and then we got to, speaking of the Beatles, we got to do that Beatles tribute night at the Tidballs live feed. Tidballs was, of course, our local venue, and they haven't been able to be open for different stretches through this pandemic, so they've had to find other ways to connect with their audience. And the part of the way was they had some live streams that the local musicians took part in, and we had a Beatles night, and that was a lot of fun.
Yes,
Got to do a Beatles song. I think that's out there on YouTube land if somebody wants to search for it. So yeah, the Beatles, Nirvana, and then eventually we went to college and we all got into Pavement. We never really got past Pavement. We're still kind of in the Pavement phase.
There you go.
So,
Love it. There's some definitely some solid influences there for Chris in the cartoons. And speaking of influences, you play with a lot of local musicians, and you see a lot of local musicians here in Bowling Green, but not just in Bowling Green is what I want to ask you about. So how do musicians across the state, whether it's, around here or anybody you've ever played with in the state of Kentucky, that those musicians that you've met, how do they influence you in what you do?
Well, I've been fortunate to meet a lot of great musicians, not just in Kentucky, but like across the country.
Sure.
And make a lot of great friends through music. And I think, that's the great thing about being a musician. Because, some people work their whole lives and never manage to make a living as a musician. But if you get out and play shows, you're definitely going to meet some like-minded people and make some friendships.
Exactly.
And so the worst case scenario is you're going to meet some awesome people and have some fun. As far as Kentucky musicians, the Bowling Green musicians are the nearest and dearest to my heart. Everybody in this town means so much to me. Love you guys. Y'all are all the best.
Oh, yeah.
We have the best scene. But, Lexington, I lived there for a little while. Shout out to all the great Lexington bands.
Absolutely.
MP Presley's band and all the great folks out there. MP Presley from Lexington actually helped pay for our last record.
There you go. Love the shout out, man.
We wouldn't
That's
have
awesome.
even been able to make Death and Relaxation without our friends in Lexington. So
sweet.
Really lucky to have them, Jason Groves, and who produced it, and the Doo-Wop Shop in Lexington.
There you go. Oh yeah, I'm well aware. Yep.
Yeah, if you're in the Lexington area, that's a great studio.
It is, absolutely. I love all those influences. And you talk about, the friendship and the bond of the 270 and the Bowling Green music scene. I've been able to befriend so many of you all. And, like you, Chris, that's in here right now. I've interviewed Josh Hines. I've interviewed Stu from By Hargum. I've interviewed Dean Collier. A lot of great people in this music scene. And that's why I'm glad to have you here. And we'll continue more after this break. But coming up next, we got Speed Limit is 80 and Darker Days from the cartoons. You're listening to In One Ear Local Music News with Casey Warner and Cris Rutledge.
Just stupid haircut, but I can't afford a new one. I can't pay my bills, can't fix my gear. Life keeps on moving. Hey! And the grayness in my body would have told you I was dead. Got no confidence or common sense, just cancel insurance. Resting easy without box springs, cause I'm one with the floor. Always looking down, not looking out. Still hoping for more. I listen to my inner child and he gave me bad advice. I listen to my inner child and he gave me bad advice. I got empathy and anger all well up in my eyes, and the speed limit takes child, and he gave me bad advice. The sun's going down, now maybe your friends will call out and sit with us on the sidewalk in the moonlight. I gotta say, life's pretty great. And then pass out and then wake up and throw it up. And then pass out and then wake up and throw it up. I just wanna play some video games and get stoned all day with Dan and Jay and watch a bad movie. And I'm aching with excitement and I'm holding on to you. Won't you hang around a while? I'll fix myself for you. Won't you hang around? I'll fix myself for you. Won't you hang around? I'll fix myself for you. Won't you hang around? I'll fix myself for you. Won't you hang around? I'll fix myself for you. Won't you hang around? I'll fix myself for you. Won't you hang around? I'll fix myself for you.
Back here with Cris Rutledge, singer and the guitarist of the band The Cartoons. Casey Warner here with you in One Ear Music News. And we got some good stuff. Last segment here, but we got some good stuff we're going to get into here with Chris. You ready, man?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get into it, man. So first I want to ask you, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're pushing through it. We're all wearing our masks. We're all social distant. We're trying to do our best to get out of this. And, you've been doing things remotely here recently. And I want you to kind of get into that a little bit and, tell us about how you've been doing that and how you've been successful in still making music.
Like I mentioned before, I'm really, really lucky to have a guy like Jared McKinney in my band who has his own home studio. But also, our bass player, Cale Knight, also has his own home studio.
Cool.
And I'm kind of the technologically illiterate one of the bunch, I guess. So they gave me some stuff, some mics and, an input, and we're like, hey, let's not lose touch. Because we've been living in California for couple of years. We were gone for a few years. We're back now, but we were gone for a few years. And so when this pandemic first hit, I just, each day, I imagine this is the feeling for a lot of people right now, just kind of ran into the next and just looking for any way to get involved. And those Tidballs live streams were really just a great way to interact with the people that I loved in Kentucky while I was out in California. And we ended up contributing to several of them. We recorded covers of the Beatles and Morning Teleportation and John Prine and Schools.
Awesome.
And ended up releasing a lot of, it's all cover songs. We haven't written anything new.
Hey, man.
I don't know if we're a cover band. Does that make us?
Music is music, man. Doesn't matter if it's a cover or not. It's all great.
Mustang Sally's on the horizon.
There you go. All right. A little sneak peek. I like it.
Oh, Lordy. Well, but so, and I think, honestly, this recording of Darker Days, which I think we just listened to,
absolutely, yep.
This recording of Darker Days is maybe my favorite thing that we've ever recorded as a band. And it was written by my dear friend and the former Cartoons bassist, Jeremy Duran himself.
Love it.
His old band, Schools. Dan was the drummer. Dan didn't have to relearn anything. He just got to play the same song he's always been playing. It wasn't a cover for Dan.
Right.
So, but honestly, there's moments where I just closed my eyes and played my guitar along to, my whole band. They recorded the song without me and they sent it to me and I closed my eyes and I played my guitar and for a minute it was almost like I was in the room with them. Yeah. And I really think, I don't know if I could have made it through those first couple of months without that. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm also thankful that I'm here in Bowling Green now with all the people that I love the most. So close, even though I'm still going to keep them 6 feet away.
Of course. I mean, we got to keep that distance, man. But like I said, I'm glad to have you in here, Chris, and it's great to do this little sit-down interview with you. There's one more thing I got to ask you, though, man. There was a great, covers album that came out. You talk about cover songs. BG covers BG, and that's when you had Darker Days on that record. And a bunch of great artists in BG and the 270 music scene covering other artists in the 270 music scene. A great record. I know I have it. I wrote a review about it, and of course you have it, and of course you've listened to it because you're on it. So get into that a little bit and tell everybody about what that meant to you and, kind of the recording process.
Well, BG covers BG. It's kind of funny because I think it's a concept that we've been trying to do for a long time in this town.
Absolutely.
And multiple people have tried, and I don't want to say failed, but it's never come to fruition.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
So it's like this idea had been out there, and Jeremy Simon, aka Jeremy Duran, I gotta get used to.
Of course.
I
get it.
He's got to start calling him by his stage name, So, Jeremy, he had, he proposed the idea, and it was kind of right place, right time. Like the idea hit at a time where we all had nothing else to do but go record covers. So, it's kind of serendipitous, and we all got together. And Jeremy actually, midway through it, had some stuff that he had to take care of, like with his own music. And so he kind of had to back out. So, Nightmare House, me and Jared collaborated. We got Brittany Lineberg and Laura Harper Knight. They collaborated on the art, and we kind of put the package together. And Josh Hines, JD Miner both helped us out a little bit too. We were all messaging, and it was a group effort. Dean, everybody. I mean, big thanks to all those people. Definitely couldn't have done it without them. And the submissions were just awesome, weren't they?
I mean, dude, it was great. Like I told you, before we started talking in this interview, I listened to it for probably 2 straight weeks. Just up and down, running through every song. And there were 26 tracks on it, right?
Oh yeah.
26 tracks, and I mean, it's just like when I was writing that review, I wish I could have wrote about 26 individual songs. I only included 12, but it's just there was so much great music on there. Can only pick a handful to write about my interview. Your all song was great. Everybody was great. It was a great production in general. And there's just one more thing I got to ask you before we wrap things up. It's to get your publicity out there, man. So give us your record label, social media, and where fans might be able to reach out to you all and listen to your music.
Well, the cartoons are pretty low key. We're on Spotify. We're on Bandcamp. You can buy our stuff on Bandcamp. We might be on some other platforms via DistroKid or something, but I don't know if we see any money from that. I don't know if anyone's ever bought us on iTunes, but the Bandcamp, that's where you can get the highest quality stuff.
Absolutely.
I think if you just search the cartoons Bandcamp, if nothing pops up, type in Bowling Green. There is another band called the Cartoons, or they're actually just called Cartoons, and it's they're from Denmark, I think, and it's like the Ting Tang Walla Walla Bing Bang. They did that.
Okay.
They did that hit.
Wow, that's awesome.
So if you hear Ting Tang Walla Walla Bing Bang, you got the wrong Cartoons.
I love it, man. That's great.
I wish I could say we had some shows coming up or some tunes coming out. We might, never know when the mood will strike.
Sure.
But we do have another project that the Cartoons are working on. Me, Jared, and Kale, along with Casey from People Proof.
Sure.
And we'll have new music coming out real soon for that. Check out, keep an eye out for the name Manami. Because I think
Manami.
That's going to be named after the famous Japanese pro wrestling legend, Manami Toyota.
Wow. I was unaware of that, man. So I learned something new today. That's great.
Yeah. Check out Manami Toyota and watch her matches and get pumped for Manami's music because it's coming.
There we go. I love it, Chris. Well, it's been great, sitting here discussing with you and chatting with you for a little bit about all things music. And we'll have to have you come back and do another interview sometime soon, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thanks a bunch, man.
Yep, no problem at all,
pleasure.
man. Of course. Well, coming up next, we got Flower Patterns by the Cartoons. You've been listening to In One Ear Local Music News with Casey Warner and Cris Rutledge.
Got the money, let's go to a movie. Fat stacks, Benjamins, I'm sitting pretty. Matinee, stay all day, pay one entry, what a pity. Pretty penny, I'm feeling thrifty. I'll play the slots, you go